All right, well, let's get started, guys. Basically, for those members of the public that are here, I'm gonna give a short little presentation, and then afterwards, you guys can give us your public input. Basically, the way we'd like to do it is we'd like to use the chat. So the chat, has a little timestamp. So if you want to talk or you have any input, just go in and just do a little hi, I'd like to speak, or you can put your question in there, and then we'll use that timestamp to go and to pick people and go in order. I am going to screen share. Aha, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyways, welcome to the 2020 public input meeting. Here are some relevant links. You guys will notice that we do have a new email address. The old email address still works, so you can use both, but we are switching to a shorter email address, fitchburg.mcc@gmail.com. So that way you don't have to memorize the alphabet. Anyways, and then these are more links for our Facebook page, our public group, as well as the community calendar. You guys should definitely check out the community calendar. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, and then make sure that you visit the Mass Cultural Council website, as well as our own Fitchburg Cultural Council website. And we've got a couple of important dates coming up. The creative meet and greet will be on October 16th. That's going to be a fun little event that we're putting on for you guys. I know last year we were all able to hang out with each other and have drinks and talk, and this year we can't, but we'll try to emulate some of those in-person activities through Zoom. We plan on having sort of a creatives show and tell open mic type of portion, as well as a kind of like a speed dating thing without the dating part, just the networking creative part. We'll also have grant writing sessions coming up soon, one on October 5th and then one on November 10th for those that like to procrastinate. And in between those, we'll make sure to share a little, basically a YouTube video that the Mass Cultural Council themselves put out. So hopefully the Mass Cultural Council video is informative enough, but just in case, we have those two dates. And then grant season, October 1st to November 16th. So remember, November 16th, you got to get it all done by then.
So that's later, isn't it? Sorry.
Yes, the grant season has pushed 1 month due to COVID.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, I thought it was always due on the middle of October. That's
it is
good.
usually September 1st to October 16th, but this year is October 1st to November.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. A lot of that is waiting on the state budget. So hopefully that doesn't get pushed back further.
Leo, there seems to be some sort of gray box that is covering part of the slide. There we go. That's better.
That is the gray box that shows all of you guys. I'll try to get.
Oh.
But yeah, we'd like to thank all of our grantees. This is you guys. And so yeah, even obviously due to COVID, we've had to, a lot of grantees couldn't hold their events anymore as they previously planned. But we still had a couple of grantees who were able to go through. The Accessible Art Studio painting classes were able to be held. Sci-Fi in the Berg, this one actually happened last year, but they applied for a grant for this year, and they were able to hold their little thing because it happened before a pandemic, back in the good old days. And then we also were able to, we allowed our grantees to reallocate as well as use some of their funds for relief. The Fitchburg Art Museum was going to have their 85th regional exhibition, and they had to cancel it, so we allowed them to use those funds instead for their after spiritualism show, so that they could stretch it out throughout the summer. The annual Fitchburg Blacksmith Art and Renaissance Festival was also canceled, but they're going to move their event to a virtual workshop where one of their master blacksmiths will be able to show you all the tips and tricks of the trade. And then they're also going to be donating some funds to regional schools. I think one of them was Assabet Tech, and the other one was Plymouth something else Tech. I forget what it was. But basically, those two schools got their funding cut by 50%, and so the festival is going to donate funds to them. And then we also had summer concerts at Coggeshall, which canceled, but they still paid their musicians. So we know that, you know, things are tough, but if you come to us and you tell us what you need, most likely we'll be able to help you out. And then very early on, we decided that all grantees were going to receive an extension basically until the end of the fiscal year 21. But we can also grant further extensions past that. And then the council can also encumber your funds. So if you don't want to hold on to that money because you don't trust yourself or something, you might go and splurge on some plants because everybody's turning into a plant person during pandemic. We can hold on to those funds until you need them. And then I think, we're also, I don't know how many of you guys have heard, but the Fitchburg Open Studios was officially adopted by the Cultural Council. So coming in October 2021, we will start hosting the Fitchburg Open Studios. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Fitchburg Open Studios, but last year was the second year that we had it. This year would have been the third. So next year will be the third. But yeah, it's basically the greater North Central area has sort of a little self-guided art tour for you guys to enjoy. And then that's basically the end of my little presentation. Told you guys it wouldn't be super long. But with that said, I do want to open up the rest of it to hear what you guys have to say and the kinds of things that you would like us to fund this upcoming 2021. So yeah, as well, if you've been funded before, if you have anything to say about the projects that we helped fund, or any other sort of questions that you might have.
Sarah has some questions. Do you want to call on her?
Sorry, I missed. Oh, yep. Where? There you go. Go share.
Okay. Well, I had two things. One is that as we're trying to build up more of an arts community and get, you know, the rest of the region to know that there are artists here, I think having a visual presence that's building is really important. Like there have been some murals and community art, but I think that more of that is really a good way to get more people aware of our community, our arts community. So that's my, you know, my wishes and ideas. But so I was granted Roundabout last year. Like I think it was actually through Fitchburg, but not through the Cultural Council. But I got grants for Sizer School Band Club, and our band club ran. We didn't do as many performances as we might have because we got shut down toward the end of the year. And I'm not sure if we're going to be able to pick it back up until after the new year, just because of the whole virtual sort of thing. It's really hard to do a band from a distance and with different people in different places. And I'm just not sure when I have to do my report, how to deal with that. I mean, like we didn't spend all of the funds that we got, but we could certainly, buy more sheet music and buy more instruments and things like that. I don't know. I don't know if any of you have any thoughts or suggestions about that.
Well, I would, so I would just suggest, so you don't know how long you're going to have to postpone your event, right?
Well, it wasn't just one event. It was an ongoing thing because it was the band club. So
Right.
the band club met but normally, like the previous years that we've been granted, we did, several performances during the year, and the bigger one that was for the larger community was in May or June. And in May or June, we were all isolated, so it didn't happen. But it wasn't that the grant wasn't just for that performance. It was for the band club as a whole.
So what
But-
you're asking, or is what you're asking, if you have money left over, can you spend it for other things you need?
Right.
Well, it seems to me that what other people are doing, correct me if I'm wrong, Leo, is they're writing to us and saying, okay, we did the best we could, but this is what happened, and we have this money left over, and we'd like to do it for this. And so that way we can keep track of how our money was spent. And my sense is we probably say you could, right, Leo?
Yeah. I mean, we don't want any of that money back. So that's been granted to you. So at this point, yeah, if there's anything that you think would be useful for the club, I know that I'm sure that some of that went on for performances too, but basically anything that you need, that you feel you need the money for.
Right. Some of it was also paying the the music teachers.
Yeah.
And that got shut down, like the band club just sort of went on pause. But I mean, we still have until January if we do actually get something going, if we can do something virtually.
But just for our bookkeeping, because we are answerable to the Massachusetts
Right.
Council, just tell us what you want to do so that we know how the money was
Of course.
spent. We're not hard line here, but we don't want to get in trouble either.
And the Mass Cultural Council has been very understanding throughout this whole time too. So they are totally okay with grantees using the money, as a form of relief. So if you would still like to pay the teachers or the instructors, even though they weren't able to teach, that's totally okay too. But it's important that we just know how the money is being used.
Absolutely. Okay, that's great.
And then I saw Melissa. You asked, we can unmute you if you want to speak.
I'm all set. I'm brand new at this, just a interested participant. And I was curious, who took care of, was it the city that did the concerts on the Common, or did you have anything to do with that?
Yep. So we helped. We funded the concerts on the Commons, but the city put it on. I am pretty sure that it was the Parks Department.
Parks and Rec.
Yep. And so they put that all together, which moved to Crocker, if I'm not mistaken.
I missed them all.
What was that?
I said I missed them all.
Oh.
I never made it over there, unfortunately.
Well, they'll be back next year.
Yeah, I hope so.
Awesome.
Thomas Moser.
Yes.
Hi. Thank you.
Hi, Tom.
Hi. So
Well
thank
done.
you for having me speak. My quick thoughts are just that I've noticed that some of the information about the Cultural Council doesn't seem to be up to date when you go to the website or other locations. And that I've noticed that even though the Cultural Council is pretty diverse with the platforms it's on, some seem to get more attention than others. I noticed that Cultural Council has an Instagram, but it seems like it wasn't getting updated as frequently, and that some of the advertisements that were put out during the summer, specifically for the movies near River Styx, it seemed to drop off in July. So I was just kind of wondering, or I'm not even really wondering, it's just an observation that it was interesting how that worked. And I wondered if there might be more kind of just looking into like having more updates on a variety of platforms. It seems like you're pretty good on Facebook, but I know some people don't use Facebook right now.
And thanks for that input. We will make sure to try to update our Instagram a little bit more regularly.
We had a little bit of a changeover over the summer, which kind of rocked some boats a little bit. I was the one that was posting the movie nights, and so the fact that they stopped getting posted was totally my fault, just because I just dropped the ball a little bit and was focusing on some other things. But yeah, we are definitely going to get on being more consistent with our social media and posting more on Instagram.
All right, thank you. It's really no complaints, just an observation. Thank you.
We appreciate your
Awesome.
feedback.
Yep, thank you. And then we have Eddie, who's advertising his services.
Oh yeah, I apply for the Youth for Music, which we provide lessons and instruments for kids that can't afford it. But I've been able to get a system, an online system. So there's a few students who do come in, and we keep the mask and everything. So I don't mind doing the one-on-one if they feel comfortable about coming in. I'm just trying to follow the governor's guidelines. But I'm also set up to do online lessons. I can do group theory classes, or I can do one-on-one lessons, which I do a lot of. So I've been able to continue teaching. Probably when the COVID first hit, my students went down to probably only about a tenth of what I had, because from Christmas through June is generally the busiest time for lessons. So I was really building up a lot of students, and then it just went down to nothing. But I was managed to get some back online, and got some new ones too. So I have been able to continue that. So if anyone knows anyone who wants an instrument or lessons, we can get them free instruments through the Cultural Alliance, and the Cultural Council is where the grant money that I applied for is going toward. And Jennifer Jones helps me manage that. So that it goes through the Cultural Alliance, which is the 403 403 whatever the nonprofit thing is,
Oh yeah, the 401c3 or
yeah, something like that. It's some letters and some numbers for sure. There's some fours in there. There's some C's in there. 501c, that's what it's called. But anyway, that's about all I have. But I had done some concerts out front here, and it was fairly successful. But I don't, and I went through Steve Curry to make sure I was within the guidelines. But then I still got some letters from like the other, for some reason, the food inspector and a few other people. So I decided not to do it. But I mean, there were only maybe like 8 to 10 people there. But I don't understand why, like Hollis Hills can have however many. They have a lot of people there. And I assume they're staying somehow within the guidelines, but here we're not allowed to do like concerts on the Mill Street. Is that why is that? Do you know?
I would guess the space. Hollis Hills has a lot of space, but I do know that they've started allowing more people in than they did a couple months ago.
Yes. So I don't know. So I'm probably not going to do any more here this year, but I would like to know that I am able to if I want to plan for the following spring or something.
Well,
Right.
the outdoor spacing guidelines also shrunk. Like in June, they were big, and then they were retracted because people were abusing it. So that might have something to do with it too. It went from like 100 to 50, and then you have to have so many people within 1,000 square feet. So that's a tight space, to Audrey's point.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense to assume. Yeah, I suppose. But I guess Riverfront Park maybe would be more space.
Yeah. Have you tried talking to K-Met Strong Style about it? Because I know that they had a couple of shows out there, but I'm not sure if it was just limited to their patio or if it broke out into the actual Mill Street stage.
I'm not sure. I think I happened to come by on a Sunday one time, and they were getting ready for something, but I was kind of in a hurry, so I didn't really stay around. That's the only time I knew about it. But then it seems like I would think they would contact me, but they haven't. And maybe it's my fault that I haven't contacted them. But they're kind of like their hours are not. I think they're like only open till 4, about 4 days a week, right?
Something like that.
So I don't see them as much. I mean, I would go broke if I drank coffee there all the time. so I make my own. And
Well, I think hers, you had to register. They did have a limit, so that's how she was able to manage some of her concerts, because you had to pre-register. It wasn't paid, but that way they could cap it off, and then if you didn't register, you couldn't go.
Oh, I see. That would make sense. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, I wasn't planning to do any more this year anyway. So it was just what kind of started off as a jam session out front, and then people showed up to listen, which was a good thing. But I don't know. I guess we do have to have a way to limit, which I did kind of have a way, which I explained to Curry that I'll have a microphone if anyone needs to move. But not very many people showed up, so.
And then to answer your very important movie question, DuckTales is playing tomorrow night.
Oh, it's tomorrow night. I thought it was tonight.
Oh,
Nope.
It's on Saturday.
Yeah.
And to clarify, these movie nights, I don't believe they are current grantees. We were just trying to post community events in general. But I'm not sure if we will continue posting in general community events, and hope that more people, grantees, please post your events on our Facebook group and on our page, but particularly on our group. It will show up on our Facebook events. We also have a Google Calendar that anyone can view and see all of our important dates, events, meetings that are open to the public. And if you message us with details for your event, whether it's rescheduled or it's the current one, whatever, we'll add it on there so that everyone can see it.
I think this might actually be a good time to ask, but would you guys, would it be useful for the members of the public if we advertised all sorts of community events, or how do you guys feel about that, or would you just rather the events that we grant? I saw a thumbs up from Thomas.
I think it would be nice if you advertise all sorts of events, whatever is possible, really.
Mhm.
I would agree. I mean, the more publicity for an event you can get. But like someone said earlier, a lot of people are trying to get away from Facebook. So I don't know if you do like an Instagram page or something too, or whatever else people are using these days.
You can find us on Instagram as well.
Yeah, I see. I haven't really gotten into the Instagram. I have the account, but I never really use it very much. So maybe I should.
Our Instagram handle is Fitchburg Cultural Council.
Cool.
No spaces or lines underneath.
I'm gonna throw it up in the chat for you guys. There you go. Make sure you follow that, and like everything, and follow, like, and subscribe. You don't subscribe on Instagram, you subscribe on YouTube. Awesome. And then, do we have any other members of the public have anything else that they would like to chime in about, talk about? Any questions, anything that we can help you with? Now that you've got us here, now that our attention is all yours. Yes, Melissa?
I really like the idea of having, a central location to go for things that are related to cultural things. I mean, I can see where you wouldn't really want to push everything, but things that are, maybe have some sort of a scope that you're going to capture, certain things that would be, related to what it is that you do. It would be great to have a single place to go, because it seems somewhat scattershot. It's hard to find where things are happening, and I half the time I miss it because I didn't know about it, that sort of thing. So I think that would be very helpful with a certain scope that you wanted to determine. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
So you guys know I have linked our Google Calendar on the chat if anyone wants to follow that.
Yeah,
And I can add another layer to it that has just general community events, regardless if they're grantees or not.
Dan, did you were you about to say something?
I did. So I just one is just an observation. As a comment, I just wanted to say it's great of the Cultural Council to step up and just say, we're gonna allow the grants. I'm a first-time grantee for Fitchburg. First-time apply, first-time grantee. I was scheduled to have a concert, do a music show at the Senior Center, which the date just got bumped 3 or 4 times. We just kept trying to hold out hope that things would get better. It was still supposed to be in October, and now I think it's just not going to happen this year at all. So I wasn't sure if when I submitted in the paperwork that I had to ask specifically for the grant, or if it was just implied that you were going to be funding that for everyone.
If we were going to, I'm sorry, could you repeat your question?
Yeah, if you're going to be providing the funding for everyone, or if I specifically had to ask for it. I wasn't sure if I was just sending in the paperwork early, or if I could expect the funding early as well.
So you already submitted your paperwork, right?
Yep.
So you should have received your funding, because I saw your email that your email with the paperwork. So you should have received it.
I have not.
All right, so we're gonna have to figure that out.
We'll reach back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, because we do have copies of your documents over here.
Okay.
So,
All right. I figured now's as good a time as any to check on. I didn't want to rush it if it was just one of these things that was going to take as long as it takes. But if you're saying people have already started receiving funding, I guess it's good that I brought it up. So.
yeah, and even if you do have to cancel, you still, you won that, we awarded you that money. So even if you have to cancel, just let us know, and we can work with you, and we'll make sure that you still get the funding, even as a form of relief.
Yeah, I mean, I just think because everything with seniors in particular, or more so than maybe other age groups, has been so risky and canceled everywhere statewide. It's definitely not happening this calendar year, and who knows about next year,
It's
Yeah.
going to be a tough bookkeeping year for us. I don't think this has ever happened before. And we are going to have to, final up with everything that happened. So your example is just a perfect example of how it's going to be tough for us because, so I would really suggest if you, we'll get back to you, but if you haven't been able to use your money yet, if you aren't able to use all your money, get back to us and let us know what you'd like to use it for.
And yeah, the last thing we want to do is pressure you into performing for the money and potentially getting people sick. So, safety first.
Thank you.
We have a Facebook question, Leo.
Oh, yes.
Stacy Sparrow Murphy of Arts on the Rocks asks, how can we get involved
With the council?
with the council?
So you can start showing up to our meetings and sort of, learning how things go and getting familiar with the faces on the council, that sort of stuff. The way that we used to do it, the way that I got into the council, and the way that many other council members got into the council is, they started showing up to the meetings and sort of familiarizing themselves with everybody on the council. And then you tell us that you're interested, and you basically have sort of like a little interview with us. Bring your resume, that sort of stuff, and then we recommend you to the mayor. At the end of the day, the mayor is the one who appoints all the council members, and so he can appoint you without our recommendation. If you're friends and hip with the mayor, he can definitely help appoint you, but we can also send him a recommendation for you on our behalf. So go to the meetings and get to know us, and yeah.
Follow us on Facebook, join the Facebook group. You don't have to talk about just cultural council stuff. Anything that's arts, science, humanities, culture, talk about it, spread the word, connect with other creatives. We have an event coming up in October 16th, as Leo already mentioned, the Creatives Meet and Greet, which will be an open mic show and tell and networking event.
Yep,
so you can showcase all the cool stuff that you're doing and meet other creatives.
Just to follow up, that we try to meet on the third Tuesday of every month. So if you wanted to attend a meeting, that's typical. We've kind of gone off the schedule a little bit, but yeah.
This is true. But yeah, so I've posted the calendar. You can see when all of our meetings are. After our meetings, after we decide on a time, I literally create a calendar event for it. The registration for Zoom might come a little bit later, but at least you know that that's coming. Yeah.
Tom just mentioned that
that's a Zoom thing, unfortunately. So you might have to just kind of save the Zoom chat before you leave the Zoom meeting and copy and paste it from there, or just type it out. We're also on Facebook Live right now, and I've posted those same links in the comments. It's also in the Facebook event for this.
And then Tom, I can send you the link afterwards. Oh yeah, you're right. You can't copy and paste it. Weird.
Stupid Zoom.
Huh. Well, thanks for pointing that out, Tom.
It looks like that Kanisha has her hand up.
Oh, yes.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to say I have two things. Thank you, Leandro, and thank you, Audrey. We were awarded a grant. We appreciate the extension. Audrey has been like, you need to post these things that we've been doing, and we just haven't, and we apologize. I apologize because ultimately it's on me. But we've been doing storyteller, empowered storytelling, and we have an event that this is my leading question. Should we wait until the next meeting to talk about, although the time frame might have already passed? I shared this with Audrey. We've been going after this National Day for like 3 years, and we just got it. National Day that's registered with National Calendar. And we are working, like we just finished the video this evening. And we have artists from Germany, Jamaica. I tried out here. We'll see how that works. But, and it's art advocacy against abuse, and how do we work together towards healthier outcomes. So I guess my question is, do I post this on Fitchburg Cultural Council's site, and then at the next meeting, do I meet, greet, and share what we've been doing with that? Or
Post as much as you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, whatever you need to do for your project to be successful, I'm sure we'll all be okay with it. And you know,
Okay.
what you're doing sounds essential. So I don't think that we'll have any problems.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate
And
y'all.
can you remind me what day is?
I will send
day
it to
is
you
it?
because at like directly after this, we're finishing like our video. We're going through the video. So we have just artists from so many different places. We're trying to make it like 20 minutes because we don't want it to be long, but it's October 4th, and intentionally it's the first Sunday of a full weekend in October. And we just like, I came in late because we're talking to Mayor Walsh's people. So they're giving us a citation. So it's just like trying to put all these pieces together. As you all know, it's just a lot in COVID, but October 4th this year. And if you go on National Calendar, it's Go Day, Growth, Overcome, and Empower. They've listed all of our days, like for the next 10 years. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So,
That's great.
but I will share this because I don't want to get the Audrey stare.
And tell people.
Audrey stare is real. So yeah, I will make sure I send this.
Awesome, thank you. Awesome. Do we have are there any more questions on the Facebook?
I don't think so.
Cool.
Thomas, did you want to elaborate? You wrote, you're saying to Kanisha, your mention of art advocacy sounds very similar to some other initiatives that you're aware of. Did you want to?
Yeah, I don't know what to
those?
do with that. That's why I'm like, okay.
Thomas, please do, because that's also related to an upcoming event. We didn't grant the upcoming event, but it's an important event and it's cultural. So if you want to share about, talk about it a little bit, Thomas, feel free.
Right. So I am going to speak on behalf of myself and a group of artists, or artivists involved in the Artivism Initiative Collective, founded by Amber Haney. So that's been going on for about a year, and it has an upcoming event this Sunday at the Burncoat Center for Arts and Wellness, where it's going to be very heavily focused on bringing voice to underrepresented people when it comes to artists who are Black and artists who are people of color. And it's to give them a spotlight, have them be able to say what's important to them. It's also going to be bringing some awareness to things that have occurred within the last few days, and with the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And it's something that also is a partnership with another group of people with the Fitchburg Arts Collective. So that's going to be happening in Worcester, the Burton Coat Center for Arts and Wellness, from 12 o'clock p.m. till 3 o'clock p.m. And I think that covers most of the highlights, but the Artivism Initiative is still an ongoing thing that is also connected with some other things with Fitchburg. They're helping with the Fitchburg's National Night Out, and they've had a whole bunch of other different shows that they've done before, and they have an ongoing social justice education club that meets every 2 weeks.
Very cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's not exactly what we do, but I mean, you're not to say that what you're doing is not important, because it totally is. And thank you so much for doing that. Art advocacy, as we all probably know, it can extend to so many different things. We're specific in this initiative of child abuse, sexual assault, domestic violence, and those related abuses. But thank you so much for the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah. Right now, the show that I mentioned before, that the specific focus of that was on the topics I just mentioned, but the things we do are pretty wide encompassing, and other shows that have been done are more in line with what you're talking about. Maybe not as advanced in being specialized, but I know that in the future, I think that we'll be planning on doing things very, very similar, but I admire what you're doing as well. And it sounds like you have a really great grip on things.
I'm just talking as it's muting. I don't want to take up all of our time, but Thomas, I'll reach out to you because we just got word with MFA that a project that we've been working on, we're going to be launching in January. And it's what I'm calling social justice wellness and art advocacy. So I will reach out to you directly and we'll be able to kick it if that works for you.
That works for me. Thank you.
Let's do it. Not a problem.
Love it.
That was really cool.
Keisha does good work. She was part of the first national night out. So you guys should definitely that would be a good meeting of the minds.
Thank you, Jesse. I love you, Jesse. Okay, I'm shutting up now.
Last shout out to Kanisha. She owns My Care Initiative, so check it out. Does anyone else have any other questions? Leo, did you want to go over the input survey at all, or do we want to just send them out? Ask people to, if you haven't filled out the survey, please do. I'm sending the link over Zoom chat as we speak.
Yep. Yeah, so the survey is pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, it's important that you guys fill out the survey. The survey is, so this part is very, very vital, but the survey is super vital because that way we have all the data down in like a very useful, organized format that we can use. And these are the types of, this questionnaire, as well as what you guys were telling us today, is basically what will help us make our decisions when it comes to funding grants for next year. So please make sure that you fill out the survey.
This is the one that Joe Bowen sent out, right?
Yep. And then there's
the art stewards already filled it out.
Oh no, sorry. Not that one.
That's a different. That's a very different.
Oh, okay,
That one was more about the stewards. This one is specific about the grant cycle.
cool.
Yeah, and there is a question. There are a couple of COVID things on here too. You know, to help us sort of navigate that. But yeah, make sure that you fill this out. That way we know which types of organizations you guys want us to focus on, because that's super important. You know, we're basically trying to fund programs that benefit you, and we can't do that without knowing what your needs are. And then I think so we got them the survey, we did a little presentation, and we got to hear from them. So if you guys don't have any further questions, we can let you guys go and enjoy your Friday night.
Oh, I will say this, next Wednesday, September 30th, at 7 p.m., a few of us, myself, Eileen, Tamar, will be representing Cultural Council on Discussing Fitchburg Now with Sam Scalia. So check that out.
Yeah, some of us are TV stars.
But yeah, grant season starts October 1st, and deadline is November 16th. If you've never filled out a grant before, which I think a lot of you guys are grantees, we do have a grant writing workshop if you need assistance. That will be on Monday, October 5th at 6 p.m. via Zoom, as well as towards the end, because we know that some people may not be the most
Procrastinate.
they might procrastinate. We don't blame them. We get it. We're artists too. But we have another grant writing training session November 10th, which is the Tuesday at 6 p.m. And basically we'll air a tutorial video that we found, and then take any specific Q&A. But I've filled out, I've applied for the Mass Cultural Council last year or something like that, and it's super easy, but we will walk you through it.
And Shara, Audrey, oh, did you see the survey? Cool, awesome. And then I just shared a link twice to a YouTube video. It's the same video twice. But that is basically the Mass Cultural Council's application walkthrough. So you can always take a look at that. If that doesn't have all the, if it's not as helpful as you'd hope, and it doesn't answer all your questions, Audrey, just the 2 dates that Audrey mentioned, the Monday and the Tuesday, you'll be able to talk to us, and we'll be able to answer your questions at that time. But it's almost, our hour is almost up. So if anybody has any last words, now is the time.
Oh, I have an idea. If people want to show their videos, I can take a screenshot of you know, a little photo of this event.
We're all virtually together.
Okay, everyone say cheese.
Cheese.
Great.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Oh, what's this? Awesome. Oh, thank you, Kanisha, for filling out the survey.
Welcome.
On it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone for coming. See you October 16th. We'll party.
Bye, Audrey.
Bye. think about what you're gonna do, what you're gonna present.